let's get started.
Can we make that orange?
Great, there we go.
Okay, what do you think, Steve? Steve?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. For me, it's an absolute honor and privilege to welcome and introduce Yogesh Chabria, who's a #1 best-selling author. In addition, he's the founder of the Happionaire way. He's an entrepreneur too. And to add to that, he's a speaker and business strategist. Wearing various different hats is Yogesh Chabria. And like I said, I'm looking forward to this final session. And this is a special address titled Wellness and Mental Well-Being of the Digital Workforce. Yogesh, the virtual floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Ivan. I was enjoying your conversations. I'm sure all of you have been having a lot of insights, listening to great speakers. And I should compliment ET Edge, Economic Times, Google Cloud, Shivami, ServiceNow for putting this together. My story is a little more personal. I'm a very simple guy, so I'll share something from my heart in the next 15-20 minutes. I just have one request. If I share something with you that doesn't make sense, which is very likely, just ignore it. Don't pay attention, just ignore it. But if there is something that you like, maybe one thing, if you like, don't just say it's nice. Commit to yourself to taking action. Is that a commitment I could have? Just say yes mentally, type it out, because I believe everybody, knowledge is there everywhere, but real change happens when you take action. So probably what I share, you already know it. You already know what I'm going to share. So it's all about taking action. And in today's world, knowledge is so easily accessible. You can just go on Google, access everything, but it's about taking action. So I'll share something from my own life that has had a huge impact. When we talk about wellness, well-being, I'll share a personal story. I remember I was 28 years old, and growing up, we didn't have a lot of money because my grandparents are from Sindh, so partition happened. They had to leave all their money, their house, their gold, everything, and they came to India. So growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. So I still remember when I was a 5-year-old boy, I used to sell toys. So in the beginning, I wanted to make money, and I remember one day I was 28 years old. My focus was completely on business, on work. And one day I was coming out of a business meeting. It was afternoon. And when I was coming out, suddenly I blanked out and I collapsed. I was with a colleague. I don't know how much time passed. The next moment I opened my eyes, I can feel warm blood dripping down my head because my head has banged on the ground, on the street. A stone has hit my head. And this colleague of mine enters panic mode. It's a stressful situation. There's tension, right? If somebody is in such a situation, he says, Yogesh, what happened to you? I said, I don't know. I can still feel the blood. I said, I don't know what happened to me. So I'm rushed to the hospital. My wife, who was my girlfriend, 2 years earlier, we got married. We had been married for 2 years. She rushes to the hospital. It's a stressful situation. There's anxiety. Nobody likes to be in such a situation. And we meet the doctor, great doctor. And, the doctor takes tests. That's what doctors do. They take a test. So all sorts of tests are taken. After some time, the results come out and the doctor he looks at the reports and he says, Yogesh, you have got cholesterol, you've got hypertension, blah, blah, blah. And here are some pills you need to take. He writes a prescription and he says, here are some pills you need to take, Yogesh. Somewhere in my head, I knew something is not right. Somewhere I thought something is not right. But, we listen to the doctor. So I start taking in those pills. Now, again, after 10 days, I fall. And this time, my entire right side is in a cast. And I'm forced bed rest. And I hate bed rest I hated the lockdown. I don't enjoy lockdowns. I don't enjoy bed rest. But this was before I'm in bed. And when I'm in bed, the first thing I do is I keep my phone away and I ask myself a question. I believe questions have a lot of power. If you can ask the right question, you will get the answer. Many times I feel the problems are complicated, but the solutions are very simple. And many times we just need to ask a question. So I ask myself a question: Yogesh, why is this happening to you? Why is this happening to me? This is what I ask myself. And with my phone away, with everything away, I get an answer. And what is the answer? The answer is very simple. I have been focusing on only one area of my life. That is my career, professional, finances, whatever, only on one area. I have ignored all the other areas. I've ignored my health. I've ignored my relationships. I've ignored everything. What do I mean by that? So when I used to eat dinner, instead of speaking to my wife, instead of speaking to my friends, instead of speaking to my loved ones, I was looking on my phone. I was looking at my phone. I was not with them. I was constantly sending work emails, messages. How many of you know somebody like that? I'm sure everybody knows somebody like that. I would be having meetings, physical meetings at 10 in the night. I would be emailing people at 3 in the morning. I'm not in the military. I'm in business. I was doing all of this. I wasn't exercising. I wasn't eating healthy. I would not do anything else except work. And this is why this happened to me. And the first thing I did, I wanted to send a signal to myself. I took all those pills and I threw them in the trash can. I'm not saying you got to throw pills. Medicines do work. Medicines are nice, but this is something I had to do. So I took all those pills, I threw them in the trash can, and I said, I need to change everything. I enrolled in a yoga class. So I started practicing yoga in the morning. I started practicing meditation. I used to meditate when I was 14, but in the middle, I had gotten so caught up in work. I'd gotten so caught up in these things that I'd ignored those things. And I started changing my lifestyle. I started changing everything. So I said, okay, when I'm at work, I'm going to focus only on work. But nobody, I hear people who say we work 24 hours a day. Nobody can work 24 hours a day because you're not being honest. Because for 24 hours, you can't work on that. Your mind is somewhere else. So you might be pretending you're working, but your focus is somewhere else. So I said, when I'm working, I'm going to be focused only on work. But after that, in the evening, if I go to the park, I'm going to be in the park. If I'm with my wife, I'm going to be with my wife. If I'm with my friends, I'm going to be with my friends. If I'm exercising, I'm going to be in the moment. If I'm enjoying a meal, I'm going to be enjoying a meal. And this had a huge impact. It changed my health. I became healthier. I became fitter. If you look at my pictures from 28, I look younger and fitter now. And everything changed. In fact, even my productivity went up. My business grew. My productivity went up because a large part of our productivity is related to our well-being and our mind. Imagine if you have a backache or if you have a simple toothache. Can you really be focused on what you're doing? If you have a toothache, you can't enjoy what you're doing. If you have a backache right now, or if you have some mental anxieties, you can't be productive at work. And I figured this out, and it was so beautiful, and I believe everybody can do it. And today's world, as we move ahead, we are moving into a digital future. Change is happening so fast. Change happens overnight. I was speaking to some friends, and we were discussing, these people are in technology. So we were saying, soon we'll be working in the metaverse. We will be having haptic suits. So you can shake hand with me with a haptic suit. You can give me a hug and actually feel it with a haptic suit, But at the same time, what happens is the more you go digital, the more new challenges come up. New challenges come up of personal well-being. How do you feel connected? How do you feel a part of a group? Because human beings, for thousands of years, we have lived in tribes, we have lived in communities. We need to have a sense of community. And this is a challenge that's going to come up. And every time something new happens, there's a new shift in technology, something new comes up, new challenges come up. I'll share, if you study the way human beings have evolved, new technologies have brought in several new gifts, several new assets, but they've also brought in challenges. I'll share something. Imagine you were there over 100 years ago. You were living in a city, you were living in Mumbai. That time it was called Bombay. You were in London, you were in Paris, you were in New York, you were in Tokyo, you were anywhere. I think we have 500, 600 people right now in this program from all over the world. Imagine you were living those times, and in those times, the means of transportation were horse carriages. Right? So you sat on a horse carriage, you went. And one guy comes up, and he says, no, we got to revolutionize this. And this guy's name is Henry Ford. He says, no, I want to make a machine which more people can afford. He called it the Model T. And he said, I want to do this. And in the beginning, a lot of people resisted. They said, nah, that's never going to happen. There were people, people who had horse carriage businesses. They said, that's never going to happen. Those guys didn't shift. Many of them lost jobs. Many of them, had to change because, once motorless, once the car comes up, you don't need horse carriages. And when there were horse carriages, one challenge people had is there was a lot of shit on the road. So if you would walk on the streets, they were filled with shit. They were filled with manure because horses, shat, and it made the roads dirty. Now, when cars came in, that problem went away. But with cars, new problems and new challenges came up. And as the challenges came up, we came up with solutions. So what were some challenges that came up with cars? One challenge was safety. You need to have safe cars, right? So earlier cars didn't have seat belts, they didn't have airbags, they didn't have ABS, but today you have cars, with 6 airbags, with seat belts, with ABS, so many things. Pollution, fossil fuels, climate change, global warming, all these challenges came up with cars. Now you have electric cars. In the next 10, 15 years, electric cars will have their own challenges. That time we will think, okay, how do we dispose of these batteries? How do you dispose of these batteries? Then probably we will move on to hydrogen cells. I don't know. But every time there's a challenge, there's also an opportunity to fix that problem, to fix that challenge. And the challenge I see today, this is a major challenge. We work with some of the largest companies in the world. I was discussing this with the CEO of a $10 billion IT company. He says, the pandemic has been a blessing in disguise for us because we have been able to scale, we have been able to use technology. Our real estate costs have gone down because now it's like work from anywhere. We can have talent from anywhere. I can have the best talent from San Francisco, from Bangalore, from anywhere in the world. Some of our, people have shifted to their hometowns. That's great. But the flip side of it is people are not feeling connected. People are feeling lonely. People are feeling isolated. We are having attrition because people are facing burnout. Our people, they have a large workforce all over the world. They say people are facing burnout. We have attrition, and money is not the thing that's keeping people on board. So we can offer them more money, but people are looking for something more. And we did a survey. We found out over 70% of people in major companies are not happy. And it's not because of money, it's because they feel isolated. They don't feel connected. With technology, you have a boon, you have a gift, but at the same time, there's also a bane, and that is, people feel isolated. And there are a couple of things. This is a short session. I can't share what all strategies, things we implemented for these guys, but I can share a few things right now that you can implement on a personal level. Your companies can implement it. Because this is going to be a major challenge, and companies that address this will attract the right type of talent. And I believe companies, their responsibility is not only profits, it's a lot more. And when you look at your organization, if you're a leader, if you're an HR head, if you're a CEO, if you're a managing director, if you're a CTO, if you look at people as a part of a family, as a part of a team, as a part of a tribe, those people, because human beings, I believe, are irrational. We are irrational. If there's somebody I love, I'll do anything for that person. If I love my company, if I love somebody, I'll do anything. Think of the time you were in love. You loved the girl, you loved the guy, didn't you go out of your way to do anything for them? And those are the feelings. If companies bring in people, will work better, and they'll feel committed. They'll feel a sense of passion. Look at the military. I work with the military. Look at the military. People are willing to give up their life. Why? It's not for money. It's for a higher purpose. And there are a few things you could do. And I'll make this quick because probably time is short, but this is something you can do right now. The first thing you can do on an individual level, very powerful, is physical health. Do some sort of movement. It's very simple. I'm sure in all the 500 people out there, all of you know it's good, but I can also assure you, I can also guarantee you, almost 80 to 90% of you mustn't be doing something for your physical health. And your physical health is linked to your mental health, is linked to your productivity. You can make out when somebody is really feeling good by the way they speak, by the way their body language is. You can also make out when they're down. So something every morning, do something for your body. The more digital you go, also you need to balance it out, right? So you need to go out in nature. So I don't enjoy going to the gym. But I enjoy other things. I love going out in nature. I love jogging. I love practicing yoga. Anything you enjoy. Remember, anything you enjoy, you'll do it better. You got to enjoy it. So it could be anything. I've had people in companies who started dancing. Somebody plays tennis. Somebody does swimming. Just go out, go near the beach, go in the garden, walk bare feet for 40, 45 minutes. Get some sunlight, get some fresh air. Because that will really help you. It will help you think better. It will make you healthier. And that is an investment. People talk about investments. The first investment you need Okay, guys. I think the call got dropped. Technology has its challenges, which we faced, but we come back, we continue. So I was saying, I was so grateful. The incident that happened to me, that I collapsed at 28, didn't happen to me when I was 80 or 90, because I would have lived my life a certain way. And when I'm 80 or 90, I would have looked back and said, oh, I wish I did this. I wish I had done that. So the first thing I want you to do, I don't want what happened to me to happen to any of you, but you can take this as a message. So take care of your physical health. First thing, very, very important. And the more you get digital, do it. And when you're working, when I'm on a call, right now I'm on video, so I'm sitting, but when I'm on a call, when I'm speaking, I'm constantly moving around. Because when you move, you generate ideas, you generate energy, it's fun. So that's the first thing. The second thing, so that's physical. The second thing is every day feed your mind. Feed your mind with something beautiful. So for example, imagine I have the best hardware. I heard a lot of experts from IT and technology currently in this. Let's say we have the best hardware. Right now I have the best hardware, but I don't have software. I don't have access to a platform. I don't have access to Teams or whatever, Cisco, to connect with you. What's the use? You need similarly feed yourself. How do you feed yourself? How do you feed your mind? Every day, spend some time reading something nice. Educate yourself. There's so much you can do to learn. For your mental well-being, you can read a book, you can listen to audiobooks. You have, every time you have free time, you can learn. Very, very powerful, very, very important. So constantly feed. Constantly, every day read a book, learn something, because the more you learn, the better you become. The third thing, very important, is has a greater purpose. I look at it, you can look at it as spirituality. You can find spirituality in your work. If you have something in yourself to look forward to, if you have something that is greater than yourself, you will excel at it. You will do it better. For example, so for me, it might be meditation. For me, it might be spending time in nature. For me, it might be going and sitting under a tree. because you learn so much. When I look at the sun, I learn from the sun. The sun gives, the sun shares, and all these things we can implement in our workspace. And fourth, very important is share. Whatever you have, the more you share. I remember when I was in school, maths was my weakest subject. I started teaching maths because that was my way of sharing and learning. Whatever you do, if you have learned something good in this summit, go out, share it. Share it with your friends, share it with your colleagues, because the more you share, the more you connect with people, the better it is. And the more you can move ahead. And I believe we are entering an age, we are entering an era which has never been there before. And human beings, remember, we used to live in tribes. Just a few hundred years ago, we sit around the fire, share stories, connect on a human level, chit chat, laugh. You need to have that, because once you have that, you can rise above and do things. Speaking of this journey, don't stop here. Continue growing. If you see anywhere, anywhere, very much. Make the most. Make the most.
Well, what a wonderful note to conclude on. I'm sure the technical difficulties were there on Yogesh's side. We apologize for that, but I think he got across a lot in the 20 minutes that he had on wellness and mental health. Mindfulness was something that he talked about at the very beginning, in terms of being focused at whatever you're doing and not being distracted with other tasks. If you're eating, eat. If you're going for a walk, just focus on that walk. So what a wonderful way to conclude this, the second edition of the Economic Times Digital Workplace Virtual Summit, presented by Shivami Google Cloud and co-presented by ServiceNow. The theme for the summit being future-ready workplace trends, technologies, and innovation. I'd like to thank all the speakers, members of the various panels, fireside chats, and their respective moderators for taking time off from their very busy schedules and sharing their valuable insights with us today. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank our partners for collaborating with us at this summit. Presenting partner, Shivami Google Cloud. Co-presenting partner, ServiceNow. Supporting associations, HR Association India, Trade Association of Information Technology, and Association for Information Technology. Media partner, Silicon India, Knowledge Partners, Boston Consulting Group, and ET Insights. And this summit was brought to you by ET Unwired. Before you leave for the day, do download your digital certificate of participation by simply clicking on the digital certificate button at the bottom of your screen and save it to your desktop. Last but not least, I'd like to thank each of you for joining us today. We look forward to your participation at more such summits in future. On behalf of the Economic Times, this is your host, Ivan Rodrigues, signing off. Have a good evening. Stay safe.